Alright, this is it, the final film in our countdown of the Rocky series leading up to Creed 2. Today we're looking at the original Creed. If you haven't seen the previous videos, you can check them out right here. Following the success of Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone's career underwent a bit of a renaissance. He returned to blockbuster action movies with a fourth entry in his other iconic series, Rambo, as well as a new trilogy of ensemble action films, The Expendables. It seemed, however, that the Rocky series really was over and that Sylvester Stallone had put the character to rest for good.
You wouldn't do another one?
No, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna fight arthritis.
Enter Ryan Coogler, then 29-year-old writer-director, hot off his critically acclaimed feature film debut, Fruitvale Station, which starred Michael B. Jordan. Coogler had been a lifelong fan of the Rocky series, having grown up watching them with his dad before junior league sporting events to get pumped up. Coogler, along with his friend and fellow writer Aaron Covington, pitched Stallone a spin-off of the Rocky series, which he loved, and the two were hired to write the screenplay, with Coogler directing, reunited with Michael B. Jordan in the starring role. Passing the torch onto a new main character was really the only way to advance this series while still keeping it about boxing.
What are you making, a comeback? No.
Rocky V tried to have its cake and eat it too by having Rocky pass on the torch to another boxer while remaining the focus of the story, but it didn't work for a number of reasons. Creed instead opts to take the soft reboot approach, reusing the same basic plot of the first film, but with Rocky now serving as the elderly mentor figure in a supporting role to a new protagonist.
We usually did that with one hand. I don't want to say anything though.
Adonis Johnson, or Donnie for short, is the illegitimate son of Apollo Creed, Rocky Balboa's rival turned friend from the original series. After being adopted by his father's widow Mary Ann as an adolescent, Donnie grows up in the shadow of his father's legacy, teaching himself to box since nobody else in his life wants him to learn.
Your daddy died in the ring.
As a last option, Donnie seeks out the tutelage of a long-retired Rocky Balboa.
How you doing?
With the help of Rocky and his girlfriend Bianca, played by Tessa Thompson, Donnie takes on his problems inside and outside of the ring, learning who he is and similarly impacting the lives of his loved ones in the process.
That's your toughest opponent. Every time you get into the ring, that's who you're going against. I believe that in boxing, and I do believe that in life.
The soft reboot format often feels derivative, but it works here where it doesn't elsewhere for several important reasons. First off, the Rocky series has always been formulaic, so it's not a big deal that Rocky's central premise is recycled for Creed. The only previous film that didn't follow the basic framework of the original was Rocky V, and, well, we've been over that. The other major aspect of Creed that makes it work is that it's very different stylistically from any of the previous films. I love the fighter statistics typography that shows up on the screen a few times throughout the movie, and the single-shot boxing match halfway through the film is probably the most technically impressive sequence in the entire series. Creed draws on the history of the Rocky movies to serve as its backdrop without using that legacy as a crutch. It doesn't rely on the viewer having seen any of the other films to understand or enjoy this one, though if you have seen him, Creed definitely rewards you by delivering more of an emotional punch, no pun intended. Donnie also sets himself apart from Rocky as a protagonist. Rocky originally became a fighter because he had few other life options.
Why do you want to fight?
Because I can't sing or dance.
Donnie, on the other hand, rejects his life of wealth and comfort to choose the life of a fighter. At the beginning of the movie, he quits his high-paying corporate job after receiving a big promotion. Then he moves away from his mother's opulent mansion out to a tiny apartment in Philadelphia to become a boxer, whether Rocky will train him or not.
I'll be at Mickey's gym tomorrow.
I don't go there. I haven't been there in a long time.
Donnie is rash and hot-headed like his father. Having never known Apollo, Donnie strives to forge whatever connection he can with him through their mutual passion for boxing, as well as his relationship with Rocky. At the same time, though, his goal is to make a name for himself.
I know you're a Creed.
I'll go by that. I'm trying to make it on my own.
He keeps his paternal origins a secret from the media until it's eventually leaked, and even after that happens, he resists the idea of fighting under the name Creed since he doesn't want to be compared to Apollo.
I'm afraid of taking on the name and losing. Call me a fraud. Fake Creed.
It's a touchy subject. After all, Donnie is the son of a man widely considered to be
the best of all time in the discussion,
while his trainer is Rocky Balboa, the guy who ended the Cold War. Those are two awfully big shadows to live under.
People look at me differently when they know.
It ends up being solely the novelty of Donnie's origins that get him his shot at fighting the #1 ranked fighter in the world, British boxer Pretty Ricky Conlan. Conlan's people even stipulate that Donnie can only have the fight if he uses the name Creed.
And what if I say no?
Without the name, there's no fight.
Similarly to how Rocky was only chosen by Apollo because Apollo liked his name.
Look, it's the name, man. The Italian Stallion.
The media'll eat it up.
Rocky begins this film at his lowest point in the series. On top of Mickey, Apollo, and Adrian being long dead, his brother-in-law Paulie has recently passed away as well, while his son Robert has moved away to Canada, and there's no mention at all of Marie or her son from the previous film. 3 years prior to Creed's release, Sylvester Stallone tragically lost both his sister as well as his son Sage within 6 weeks of one another, and I suspect this must have factored somewhat into Rocky's character arc here.
Everything I got is moved on, and I'm here.
Rocky is resistant at first to the idea of training Donnie, not wanting to let anyone new into his life. Donnie persists though, and the two begin to form a bond, but then Rocky is diagnosed with cancer. He doesn't want to get treatment after having watched his wife go through it only for it to fail, and so Rocky resigns himself to his fate.
I don't care. I ain't training if you don't get the treatment. So if I fight, you fight.
He gains a new reason to live through Donnie, while Donnie gains in him a surrogate father figure, one who not only shares his passion for boxing, but also helps and encourages him to follow his dreams. The two fight together, inspiring and pushing each other forward as Donnie trains for the big fight and Rocky battles through chemotherapy. This aspect of the story was inspired by Ryan Coogler's experiences seeing his father suffer from neuromuscular disorder. Stallone received a Best Supporting Actor nomination at the Academy Awards for his performance in this film. Once again, he didn't win it, though he did become one of only 6 actors to have ever been nominated for an Oscar twice playing the same character. The rest of Creed's cast is pretty great too. Donnie's girlfriend Bianca is the only character in this entire film series so far who has any sort of concretely defined interests other than boxing. She's an aspiring musical artist who performs locally but has recently been gaining momentum. There's a bit of a tragic aspect to her character though. Bianca suffers from progressive hearing loss. As time goes by, she'll eventually become deaf, which would severely hinder, if not completely destroy, her ability to engage in her passion for music. The relationship between Bianca and Donnie feels very natural. Since the two of them are both pursuing long-shot careers, they feel relatable and compatible with one another. Tessa Thompson and Michael B. Jordan also have great on-screen chemistry and both turn in fantastic performances. Mary Ann Creed, played by Phylicia Rashad, doesn't have a huge role in this film, but she still leaves a strong impression. Since Donnie has so many potential life opportunities, Mary Ann doesn't want him to become a professional fighter, especially in light of how her husband died.
I can get hurt doing anything.
Apollo didn't get hurt, he got killed.
This sentiment is echoed by Rocky.
Why would you want to pick a fighter's life when you don't have to? If Apollo was around, he would tell you that too.
Use your brain. Be a doctor, be a lawyer, carry a leather briefcase. Forget about sports as a profession.
You gotta be a moron to want to be a fighter, you know what I mean?
As well as by Little Duke, played by Wood Harris, the son of Tony Burton's character Duke from the original series. This film's big opponent, Ricky Conlon, is played like the last few opponents by a real boxer named Tony Bellew. Conlon is about to go to prison, which will force him into retirement. Before that happens, he's got one last fight scheduled that was originally supposed to be against this guy, Danny Wheeler, trained by Little Duke, but Conlon assaults Wheeler during a heated press conference exchange. Now he needs a new opponent fast, prompting the stunt match against Donnie.
I don't want to be remembered like this. I don't care how you're remembered. I care about your kids having a roof over their head when you're done.
Alright, you know the rest. The day of the big fight comes, and Donnie defies all expectations by going the distance against Conlon, losing by split decision, but proving himself in the end to be more than just his name. Also, notably, Donnie had begun to seize control of the match towards the end, almost managing to knock out Conlon before the final bell. Nowadays, professional boxing matches are 12 rounds, not 15 like they were back in the original series. This means that if the match had been the same length as any of the ones from the previous films, Donnie would probably have won. Creed reinvigorated interest in the franchise, earning widespread critical acclaim and accolades in addition to Stallone's Oscar nomination. The film also became the second Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan collaboration to receive massive acclaim. Their star would continue to rise even further following the success of their third collaboration, Marvel's Black Panther. As for Creed, if you couldn't already tell, I love it. I never thought the series would continue on after Rocky Balboa, but now that it has and the quality is still high, I couldn't be happier that it's back. The latest film in the series, Creed 2, releases today. Check back tomorrow for the review. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a big favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, ring the bell, and let me know down in the comments any and all of your thoughts on Creed. I've got lots of other videos up on this channel you can check out if you like this. Thanks very much once again for watching, and take care.